Hello and welcome to another TCOS update on Force 13 Xtra. It's been 3 long days since it was last updated, as you can see. Let me just move this around. And a lot will have changed in that time. Just to reiterate what we did have back then, we had Cody, Tiffany and a subtropical storm in the Southeast Pacific, not far from South America. Well, let's look at what we've got today on the 12Z GFS runs. First off, you will notice that there's a little system there in the Atlantic. That's what some models gave just a smidge of a chance a while back. Obviously, it's not going to be anything. Long range in the Atlantic, nothing at all to speak of in the tropics, thank goodness, but plenty of windstorms blowing through the US East Coast nor'easters. Those two, well, only two actually in the short range. The one that's already hitting Canada and the one after that, which a lot of people are turning their attention towards. Okay, Eastern Pacific then should be quiet as a mouse. And once again, oh dear, what's that? Well, that's an interesting feature that's showing up there. I don't think I've seen anything quite like that during the winter time. I don't think that is tropical or subtropical, but I'll just do a check just in case. It's the first time I've seen this, so I doubt it's going to be anything important, but we just want to really make sure. They're actually wanting that on the phase diagram to be borderline subtropical actually. So that's interesting. We're not going to mark it because it's the first time I've seen this, but maybe it's something to look out for in the upcoming runs. Well, if you look on satellite imagery though, what a mess is all I can really say about that. Shouldn't be anything. Central Pacific then, looking at all of this, no surprise to see that it is dead quiet there as well. The Western Pacific Ocean, also quiet, although in the longer range something might be starting up there near the Philippines, but not yet. The Southwest Indian Ocean is the one that's seen the most change recently, still in the medium to long range, but look at that massive explosion in that storm there to 944 by the time we get to hour 198, which is the furthest out we are so far. Its formation area, I mean, starts from 3 little low pressure systems here, you can see, and that is first traceable probably here. That's at 84 hours out, so that's going to be a non-zero chance, and I'd be happy to give that a 10%. So we'll put that down as a future system, and this is now going to be F1. Do some keyboard bashing to get that right. Just copied one of the other ones over just to use as a template, what I always do. Corresponding the code F1, its location will be 13 south, 58 east, 10% in 5 days. Obviously the other one's still on the screen, we'll sort them out in a minute. In that period of time, in the 5-day period, it only really just gets to tropical storm phase, so it won't be given much points, and it's not affecting land masses there in that time, possibly Agalega. The other one forms outside of our range, so we're not going to be tagging that yet. You can also see the Australian region from where we're looking at, the western area. A lot of unsettled weather there, but no cyclones. Tiffany, I'm pretty sure we can scrub. Let's just double check this. I don't know which one Tiffany even is now. I'm guessing it's this system here. Let me just double check that is Tiffany and not something else. I've not been watching the tropics as much recently. It's still on the ATCF, so it must be. Yeah, so that's still Tiffany. That is, I would assume, a remnant low. Just check some satellite imagery. And if I can't see anything much, then it'll obviously be a remnant compared to what it was on the 12th. You can still make it out, actually. But yeah, it's a remnant. Just gotta put that in here and sort all the colours out. Oh no, it's doing that freeze thing. No, it's not. It's done. Right, and wind speeds. We'll just borrow the model data there. 30 miles per hour, 996. Because we don't really care about Tiffany. It's over Australia though, so that score will still remain rather inflated. 20 points. Nothing else to look at there. So the South Pacific, let's have a look now. And you'll see that Cody is still quite clearly there. Underneath to the south of the massive volcano plume, if you missed it earlier. A massive volcanic eruption in Tonga, probably the biggest since Pinatubo in 1991 and bigger than the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980. That is currently being marked there as 981. Obviously it's an extra tropical storm now with winds of around 60 miles per hour. Maybe 65. We'll go 65 there. Extra tropical. And its position there is 31 south, 178 degrees west. That's east of the dateline. Now it did look for a time it would squarely impact the North Island of New Zealand, but it's more of a brush pass now. Closest pass in 36 hours. That will give it some points. And that is pretty much where we're at. 24 points is what Cody is at. Okay. Other areas of interest. There's this one that develops, that's in the long range. That was in the shorter range in the last model run. Interesting how it hasn't picked up on anything from the volcano. But that is probably a good thing. And I don't know whether or not the volcano has contributed to the storm being delayed on the models, but it will certainly be delayed in real life if it gets to form at all. So just looking, so this C1, not sure if that was the same system, but we're taking that off because there's nothing in the next 5 days. So C1 is gone, and I imagine that D1 is also gone. Was that C1 in the west or in the east? That's a western hemisphere actually, so let's just keep that on for a moment. And it's D1 that we'll want to get rid of there, which was 15 south, 174 east. Just checking in on C1, which was at 12 south, 167 west. Is that still there? Gets a bit confusing sometimes. There's a little thing that could form there, but I don't fancy it, so we'll take that one off as well. So off they go. The picture's a little bit clearer. I imagine the E1 will be going as well, because that's old news. The one that was approaching South America. I can't see it at all. Yep, that is long gone. So that one's scrubbed too. Leaving just what's left of Cody, what's left of Tiffany, and F1 on our TCOS today. Nothing in the South Atlantic. Let's check Europe and the Mediterranean. No, nothing much there. And just for the fun, for my neck of the woods, what are the temperatures looking like across Europe in the next few days? Yeah, pretty chilly. But in terms of TCOS right now, there is going to be trouble brewing in about a week, but just at the moment, things are a little bit quiet for a little bit longer. But we're pretty sure things are going to ramp up in the later part of January. But as of right now, 5 PM UTC this January 15th, we're still unclassified with a TCOS score of 24.